it's Sarah Todd. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're gonna be chatting about how I maximize my money as a disabled person. Before we get right on into it, just wanna give a disclaimer that this is not legal or financial advice of any sort. Nothing that I say in this video is legal or financial advice of any sort, and I am not responsible for your financial or legal decisions. Okay, now that that is out of the way, let's get right on into it. The main way that I like to maximize my money as a disabled person is through utilizing my ABLE account. I love my ABLE account. My mom set it up for me before I turned 18, and then once I turned 18, I got control over it and have been using it myself since then. It has been such a great tool for me. I've learned a lot about money through it. It's been so helpful, and I genuinely think more disabled people need to be aware of ABLE because it has been such a useful tool for me. So what exactly is it? ABLE accounts were created through the ABLE Act of 2014, so they're actually pretty new, and ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. Kind of cheesy, but also clever. And so through the ABLE Act of 2014, that act created ABLE accounts. They are tax-advantaged savings or investment accounts for disabled individuals to save money without losing benefits and spend the money that is in those accounts on qualified disability expenses. Why is this so important, you might ask? Well, because if you are on disability benefits like SSI, SSDI, or Medicaid, for example, you may only be allowed to have $2,000 in assets, which is not very much money, especially in our economy today. A lot of money is needed just for basic necessities and to be able to live today. But a lot of disabled people rely on Medicaid for access to healthcare. So a lot of disabled people can end up in like a forced poverty situation where they depend on the benefits, but then they're not able to save money because you can't have more than $2,000 in assets, or if you're married, more than $3,000 in assets. So it's a vicious cycle. So ABLE is kind of stepping in to help alleviate some of that strain. It's obviously not perfect, but it is definitely helpful. ABLE accounts allow disabled people to just have a bit more financial freedom and independence while still maintaining the access to the benefits, which is just so important. And being disabled is super expensive. Disabled people spend more money than non-disabled people by a lot on medical bills, and then just little things like cut up fruit at the grocery store, getting nails done at the salon because you can't trim your nails yourself, etc. You know, things like that. So ABLE accounts are a really useful tool to allow disabled people like me to have more financial freedom and independence. All right, so who's eligible for an ABLE account? So previously, you used to have had your disability occur before age 26 to be eligible. Now, as of January 1st, 2026, they have raised that age to 46, which is huge. This is amazing news. So now a lot more people are eligible for ABLE accounts. So you have to have had your disability begin before age 46 and be receiving SSI, SSDI, or Medicaid, or have a physician sign a document stating your diagnosis and stating that you have had severe functional limitations that began before age 46. So you do not have to be receiving benefits to open and use an ABLE account. So why are ABLE accounts so great? One of the best things about ABLE accounts is the earnings on your money in the ABLE account are tax-free. So you can just use it as a savings account if you want to, if you don't want to risk losing your money, but you can also use it as an investment account. So you can choose from different investment options. They have like varying levels of risk, and then you can earn money on your money in your ABLE account. Obviously, investing is scary. It's not for everyone. You want to be smart with it. It always comes with risk. But since there are varying levels of risk that you can choose to invest, that is very helpful. So you can just decide like what's best for you. You don't have to invest it all. Some people don't like to do that, and that makes sense, perfectly fine. But it's great that it's an option, and then so great to not have to pay tax on the earnings. There are annual contribution limits to like how much money you can put into the ABLE account each year. So for 2026, the annual contribution limit is $20,000. So you cannot put more than $20,000 in your ABLE account during the whole year of 2026. They change this amount almost every year. Since I've had an ABLE account, it has changed. It's gone up by $1,000 each year. So that's really nice. Like if you're somebody who wants to put $20,000 in throughout the whole year, like, you know, maybe do like $5,000 at the beginning of the year, like do 4 chunks of $5,000. That is an option. Really, however people want to use it. You obviously don't have to put the maximum amount in because $20,000 is a lot to save in 1 year. Like that's incredible. But yeah, so it's basically up to you. You just can't put more than the annual contribution limit into the ABLE account each year. There are different programs for ABLE accounts based on where you are located. There are 51 different ABLE account programs. So different states have different programs. Some states do require a certain amount to be able to open an account. Like some states require you put in $25 when you open the account. So maybe all you put in is $25 just so you have the account. It's always fine to just start with, you know, however much is required and just have the account. There's also this really neat aspect of ABLE accounts called Able to Work. So this is in addition to just like the standard contribution limit of $20K for 2026. There's the Able to Work program. So if you are employed, you can add an additional amount, like in addition to the standard contribution each year. This amount also seems to change each year. It has gone up. This year, the amount is $15,650. So if you want to and are able to, this would be incredible. You could put in $20,000 with the standard contribution and then an additional $15,650 with the Able to Work contribution if you're eligible for that, and then you have even more money in your ABLE account for that year. And then up to $100,000 in your ABLE account is not a countable resource for SSI. So that means that you can literally have up to $100,000 in your ABLE account and still receive SSI, which is amazing. It is definitely important to note though that funds in an ABLE account can only be used on qualified disability expenses. They do make this sort of vague, but there is information out there about what a qualified disability expense actually is. So this list here says this may include expenses related to education, food, housing, transportation, employment training and support, assistive technology, personal support services, medical, prevention and wellness expenses, financial management, administrative services, legal fees, and other expenses. Personally, for me, I like to use my ABLE account to fund my healthcare expenses. And I found a really easy way to track my expenses through my ABLE account. So through the ABLE program I'm not sure if all of the programs offer this, but I can get a debit card that is connected to my ABLE account. The way it works for me is I load money from my ABLE account onto my debit card. So I have to withdraw the money from the ABLE account, like put it on the card, and then I can use that card like a debit card. It has a PIN, and then I can keep track of everything that I'm using the money in my ABLE account for. So this is really useful for me personally because then I can separate my healthcare expenses from other expenses, and it kind of just helps me like budget that out in my mind. And then at the end of each year, I know how much I spent on healthcare and I have it all in one place. My card does have a $5 monthly fee, so that is $60 a year, which kind of stinks, but to me it's worth it to be able to have it all in one place. It's very helpful for me. And I always make sure to track my healthcare expenses. We're gonna get into why in a minute. Okay, another important thing to note about ABLE accounts is the Medicaid payback. So essentially, when an ABLE account owner passes away, qualified disability expenses, including funeral and burial expenses, are paid first. Then if the ABLE account owner used Medicaid services after opening the ABLE account, Medicaid may claim reimbursement under the Medicaid payback rule. So this is definitely just something to keep in mind, be aware of if you are on Medicaid and are considering opening an ABLE account or have an ABLE account. But yeah, overall, ABLE accounts, in my opinion, are just such a fabulous financial resource for disabled people. I really love having mine. It really has helped me learn more about money, feel comfortable with managing money, and just feel really good about tracking my expenses related to healthcare and just making sure that I am on top of things. So yes, love telling people about Able. If you're interested in learning more about Able accounts, there's this amazing website. It's the Able National Resource Center. Their website is ablenrc.org. They have so much useful information on their website, tons of FAQs, like really helpful. So if you're considering opening an Able account, or even if you already have one and just want to feel a bit more confident with it or unsure about some things, I love their website. So I will link it in the description of this video. Okay, shifting gears from Able, another thing that I love to do to maximize my money as a disabled person is to track my healthcare expenses. So as a disabled person, I obviously have a lot more healthcare expenses than non-disabled people do. But what I love to do is I keep a spreadsheet. So I have this spreadsheet. I title it 2025 EOBs and refunds. So what's an EOB? An EOB stands for explanation of benefits. So it's basically just like a notice you'll get from your health insurance company that explains like what they paid and what you owe, if anything, for a health service that you received. And so it's not a bill. It's basically just like an informative document. So after you get a service of some sort, like even if it's just a doctor's visit, you should get an EOB from your insurance company, just letting you know what they paid and how much you have to pay if you need to pay anything. And it is very important to look at those EOBs because sometimes what you pay in the office, if you pay for your service, like at the time of service, doesn't match the EOB and you may owe more, or you may be due a refund. And you might not know that you're due a refund if you're not tracking your healthcare expenses. So I'm gonna give y'all an example of how I do this. So I have my spreadsheet. I have a tab at the bottom that's copays. I also have a tab at the bottom that's deductibles. And my last tab at the bottom is all. So all includes both copays and deductibles. And then I have the copays and deductibles separate as well. The copays tab, that is basically just like what I had to pay at the time of service to be seen, if that makes sense. So like if I go to my primary care physician, I might have to pay like $30, for example, to be seen by the physician. That's called a copay. So it's what like the patient is responsible for to receive a service. The deductible is the amount that like the patient has to pay before the insurance company starts stepping in and paying for you. So having a low deductible is much better than a high deductible because you don't want to have to spend $5,000 before your insurance company is also paying. So we'll give an example of how I organize this. I have a tab that's the service. So for example, this is a sick visit. And then the next tab is service date. So when I went to the doctor, the cost. So this is how much like the service costs, whether I paid it yet or not. If I did pay it, the amount paid, how much the EOB says that I owe, and then any notes if applicable. So for this example, I had a sick visit at the doctor on January 3rd, 2025. It cost me $30. I paid that $30. So the amount paid was $30, and my EOB says that I owe $30. So that one was perfect. Like EOB matched what I paid. So that's cool. Let's go through an example of something that didn't match up. I had a lumbar MRI done on July 28th, 2025. It cost $425. I went back and put that in after I found out that's what my EOB said, but I paid $468 because when I went for the appointment, before I had the service done, they charged me $468. But then I got my EOB back and it said that I only owed $425. So I was due a refund of $43. So I reached out to the place where I got the MRI done and they mailed me a check for $43. And I keep track of that in the notes tab. So I'll note like if a refund is due, whether I've heard back from them about it, and when it's been credited. So this is why this is so helpful, because if I hadn't been tracking that, I maybe wouldn't have remembered that I paid $468 for that MRI and that my EOB said $425. So I was owed $43 back. I might not have connected those dots there. So I just find it very helpful to keep track of all my healthcare related expenses in this spreadsheet so that nothing gets left out and I'm not overspending on my healthcare, because I definitely don't want to be doing that. So yeah, and then in the all tab, I just have everything that I've had for the year. So the copays and the deductibles together. And then this is just helpful for seeing it all laid out. I do this every year. I've started my 2026 spreadsheet, already have some things in there. Just good for like budgeting purposes too, to kind of know how much money you're spending on healthcare, making sure you're getting your money back, all those things. So I love doing this. and it's very satisfying as somebody who loves organization. So yeah, those are the two main ways that I love maximizing my money as a disabled person. I find ABLE accounts and keeping track of my healthcare related expenses to be so helpful for me personally. I hope that this video was informative for y'all. I have linked the ABLE National Resource Center website in the description below, ablenrc.org, and I hope that y'all maybe learned something new and enjoyed this video. If so, please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I've been loving filming long form content lately. I really hope to see you all at the next video. Bye everyone.